You got him for abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another race night with the Xtreme Motorsports Truck Series. The Drive Broadcasting Network welcomes you aboard as we'll be riding shotgun with the drivers here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Xtreme Motorsports 99 brings you the online sim racing network 114 for round 4 of the Camping World Truck Series. I'm your commentator, Sean Zulu. I am joined by Dave, Evelyn, a very special guest here tonight with us, Ryan Daniels from the OSR Network with Joe White. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing great there, Sean. Ready to go some green flag racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Oh, absolutely. And how are you doing tonight, Ryan?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, Sean. Hopefully I'll be able to join you guys in calling this race if I can get my system to work properly. But thank you guys for having me.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Anytime. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be waiting here for the Ryan Daniels to get everything sorted out. But in the meantime, Dave, start by telling us a little bit about tonight's race, please.
Well, as I said, we are at Charlotte Motor Speedway here in North Carolina. Taking a look at the weather, it is 78 degrees with a track temperature of 88 degrees, partly cloudy with the wind north at 2 miles an hour.
And the drivers do have a 65% fuel limit. That is 65%. So that means we should expect to see at least 2 pit stops in order for these guys to be able to make it for the full length of the race. Once again, 114 laps. That is 114 laps. And just a little bit of a recap from last week's race for the Toyota Tundra 250 at Kansas last week, or the week before last. We did have the 6 of Wetmore bring it home, and that was his second win in a row. The 29 of Matthew Ozenbach came out second, and that was his second win, his second place finish in a row. 57 of Hunter McDaniel came out third. 11 of Ken Ladd fourth. Jacob Bell fifth. Zachary Kraser sixth. Rusty Farrow seventh. The 50 of Scott Mitten eighth. 65 Marty Ray ninth. And the 64 of Michael Knight did round up the top 10. And Tom Wetmore did take the pole and led us to our first green flag run. And contact between Ken Ladd and Tommy Amasi sent them both flying and spinning out of control and giving us our first caution of the night. And Hunter McDaniel did beat everybody off pit road with a 4-wide battle off pit road, and he did give us our first lead change of the night. And the high side was a place to be, which encouraged single file racing, as the inside line was nearly impossible to get to work, because it was, if you had to make a move, you had to do it as soon as you could, or by what I mean by that is as soon as the green flag had flown. Newer tires made it very easier to pass on the inside line. And we did have a round of green flag pit stops, which did spread out the field and put into play different pit strategies, highlighting the best and the close strategies. And we had a one-lap shootout at the very end, which meant the drivers had to get up to speed and race at the exact same time, which brought it down to Tom Wetmore, Matthew Rosenbach, Hunter McDaniel, Ken Ladd, and Jacob Bell. But it was a great race overall, full of battles all over the track and lots of green flag racing. Well, moving on to our current season standings, we do have the 6 of Tom Wetmore taking over the points lead here, away from the 14 of Vern Bradley. So he went from 3rd place to 1st this week, and the 14 of Vern Bradley went from 1st place to 2nd, with only 4 points behind him. 75 of Rusty Farrow went from 2nd to 3rd. The 20 of Jacob Bell, 77 of Jacob Bell from 7th to 4th. 64 of Michael Knight from 4th to 5th. The 57 of Hunter McDaniel new to the top 10 in the 6th place spot. The 4 of Brian Kuo and the 50 of Scott Mitten both tied for 7th. Brian Wasserman from 5th place down to 8th. The 12 of Damian Crump and the 11 of Ken Ladd tied for 9th. And the 29 of Matthew Rosenbach and the 5 of Gary Woobot both tied for 10th place, and that rounds up our top 10. So tonight we should expect to see 3 groups, or I should say 3 sets of drivers battling to try and have a tiebreaker, because they are tied in points. By the looks of it here, Dave, we do have the guys currently gridding up, so we will give them a few seconds before we go down that list. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the 57 of Hunter McDaniel on the pole, the 48 of Curtis Vollmer 2nd, the 6 of Tom Wetmore 3rd, 11 of Ken Ladd 4th, the 27 of Justin Rodden. And Justin Rodden is a new driver here at the series this season, so you should expect to see some great driving from him, qualifying 5th, the 28 of Chris Voyle 6th, 97 of Garrett Robinson 7th, the 81 of Travis Pryor 8th, the 65 of Marty Ray 9th, the 77 of Jacob Bell 10th, the 24 of Chris Gibew 11th, the 19 of Andy Starcher 12th, the 64 of Michael Knight 13th, 88 of Jamie Christensen 14th, the 14 of Vern Bradley, previous points leader 15th, the 7 of Brian Wasserman 16th, 86 of Adam Eisenhower 17th, the 50 of Scott Mitten 18th, the 12 of Damian Crump 19th, all 5 Tommy Amasi 20th, and that will round up our top 20. The 39 of Zachary Kraser 21st, 59 of David Wise 22nd, the 4 of Brent Kuo 23rd, the 5 of Gary Woobot 24th, the 71 of Chris Thorman 25th, and the last truck to qualify tonight, 58 of James Peterson in the 26th place position. And we have the 75 Rusty Farrow 27th, and the 33 of Vernon Margheim in the 28th place spot. So tonight we do have 28 drivers starting tonight's race here once again, ladies and gentlemen, for 114 laps, 114, 65% fuel limit. And also that's going to be 114 laps of white knuckle racing, and these guys giving it all they have to try and challenge each other. And ladies and gentlemen, we have some good news. Ryan Daniels up here was able to get everything sorted. It's good to have you here, Ryan.
Yes, thank you again for having me out here, guys. Thank you, Sean and Dave, for allowing me to hop up here with you guys for tonight to help call the OSR Network 114 here at Charlotte. I'm still trying to load into the simulator, but have at least gotten that far. So a few more seconds, and hopefully everything will be working up to standard.
Oh, 10-4, brother, making progress. That is very, very good to hear. But we will get things started here as these guys are rolling into turns number 3 and 4, going green for the first time. This time by, well, Dave, take it away.
Well, as they are now coming here out of turn number 4, ready for that pace car to make that track onto pit road, go green flag, pace car off. Looks like Hunter McDaniel is going to hammer it down, but the 48 of Curtis Vollmer saw it coming. However, Tom Wetmore was just sleeping just a little bit as Ken Ladd was able to get to his outside, but it looks like Tom Wetmore is going to have the preferred line as they are going to go single file.
And right now, 28 of Chris Voy was left out high and dry, was losing spots left and right, but catches a break here behind. That's going to be the 97 of Garrett Robinson, who did slow him down quite a bit. But 28 of Voyes will have a chance to fall back to that bottom lane to avoid losing more spots and more time and more speed and more momentum. And right now, Garrett Robinson on the outside line behind. That's going to be the 81 of Travis Pryor, but the 28 of Chris Voyes on his inside makes the pass successfully here before turn 1. And further back in the pack, 24 Chris Gibew, the 1990 Starcher, 64 Michael Knight. These guys all single file. But as we speak, Michael Knight is being challenged by the 88 of Jamie Christensen, a new driver as well here for that 13th place spot.
Yeah, these guys are battling out, but we do have 114 laps here, so they got some time. Meanwhile, Vern Bradley running back here in 15th. Looks like he is going to ride on the bumper there of 88 of Jamie Christensen there as they are working their way around the 64 machine of Michael Knight. Just behind them, Adam Eisenhower and Damian Crump are kind of battling it out. Damian Crump is going to just follow it back in line here as the 86 of Adam Eisenhower is going to look underneath there, the 64 machine of Michael Knight.
And right behind him is the 12 of Damian Crump, the previous season standings leader of the Pro K&N Series here at the Xtreme Motorsports 99. And he is trying to apply pressure to the 86 of Adam Eisenhower, but drifted way high. His truck did push. He had no chance to let off because that wall off turn 2 was sneaking up on him. And we have the Ryan Daniels up here. That's once again, ladies and gentlemen, he is for them from the OSR network with Joe White. Well, brother, join us.
All right. Well, right now you guys are talking about all this action going on. Finally, I've got this thing working the way I want. Looking at some of the battles throughout the field right now, I'm riding on board with the 88 of Jamie Christensen. Working around, it looks like the 19. Forgive me, I don't know all the new drivers here, as I don't usually call these truck races, but Andy Starcher, they're side by side as I head down the back straightaway going into turn 3.
Yep, Jamie just might propel off turn 4. He is pulling the 14 of Vern Bradley, and they do clear the 19 of Andy Starcher, who was a sitting duck on the outside line. And one thing about this, Ryan, is that outside line will come to life later on in the race, but so far the inside line is a place to be.
Yeah, so far early in the run, you're definitely right. It looks like the inside is the place to be. The outside hasn't really had the opportunity to come in yet, but as these tires wear, these guys are definitely going to have to consider moving up that track.
And for the back in the pack, we have some more battles going between between the 12 of Damian Crump and the 27 of Justin Rudd. And these guys side by side. The 12 of Crump makes a pass successful and clears him here, entering turn 1. And right now, Justin is still left out high and dry and leaves the door open for the 50 of Scott Mitten to occupy his inside line. And also going back up front here between the gap. Oh, it looks like Tom Wetmore was able to go from 3rd place to 2nd place, overtaking the 48 of Curtis Vollmer, and is now trying to hunt down that 57 of Hunter McDaniel, who is pulling away as we speak.
Yes, he has Hunter's looking good in that 57 truck out in front, but Tom Wetmore obviously won already. I want to say it's 3 times this season here in the truck series, being followed closely by Curtis Vollmer. So you guys are right. These boys trying to get some pressure up on that 57 early, but so far Tom and Curtis look like they're going to have a little bit of work to do to run down that 57.
Oh, that's absolutely right. As we speak right now, 48 of Curtis Vollmer is also catching 6 of Tom Wetmore. So if these guys ride together close enough, nose to tail, they should be able to have a little bit of a push, gain some extra speed on the straightaways, and even increase their speed in the turns, and that will make the 57 Hunter McDaniel a sitting duck. If he's not careful, he just might lose that, but it's going to be very interesting to find out exactly what happens once they catch up to him, if they do catch up to him.
That is for sure, and right now, still skimming through the field here, trying to get all the names and everything of these guys down, because as you guys know, you guys always call these truck races and the K&N division on Monday and Tuesday, and Joe and I usually call the races on Wednesday and Thursday, so these boys, a little bit, again, different for me. I recognize some of these guys, though, and there's a good battle going on here further back out of, I want to say, right about the 13th, 14th, 15th spot. Damian Crump will get to the inside of the 19.
Yep, Damian Crump once again makes a pass successfully against the 19 of Andy Starcher. Andy Starcher very stubborn, not going to let him go easily here. Going to try and take what was rightfully his, which was that 14th place position. But Andy right now having more pressure, having more things to worry about, because 6'4 of Michael Knight is on his inside line, and he is trying to hold him off here. But 6'4 Michael Knight has the preferred entry. Oh, 6'4 Michael Knight pushes way too much in the turn, and this 50 of Mitten has nowhere to go, and will ride both lanes, backs off to avoid causing trouble.
Yeah, very smart on the move of the 50 there of Scott Mitten checking up for that, because that could have been huge had he stuck it in there. That 64 is looking tight on the bottom and not looking like he's being able to hold it like he wants to anymore.
Yep, and because of that, he did lose some time. He lost the spot to the 50 of Mitten, and right now almost lost the spot to the 27 of Justin Roden. And Justin right now being challenged by the 7 of Brian Wasserman, and Brian Wasserman is pulling the 4 of Brent Kuhl.
Yeah, both the 7 and the 4 looking good on the bottom right now as they're going around that 27 car of Justin Rodden, and not too far behind them as well as Zachary Kreiser in the 39. He's going to look to try to catch up to the 27 now as well.
And one thing I like about this track here, Ryan, is that the draft does usually keep these guys together. They might try to pull away, like for example, the leaders might try to pull away from the rest of the pack, but it's easier said than done, because that draft just might bunch them up in the long run, and usually does.
Yeah, that is for sure. The draft definitely plays into effect here, especially with these trucks, because they're not quite as fast as the Xfinity cars and nowhere near as fast as the Cup cars, so they don't get spread out all that much. And the draft here, being that it does play such a significant effect, can really decide who moves through the field and who falls back.
Oh yeah, and speaking of moving through the field here, we have a battle for the second place spot, actually for the lead, between the 6 of Wetmore, who was able to get around 57 of Hunter McDaniel, and that does give us lead change number 1. And the 57 of Hunter McDaniel has no choice but to fall back in line behind the 6 of Tom Wetmore, and that 48 of Curtis Vollmer is catching them slowly but surely, because when they were battling there, he was able to gain a little bit of time on them, and the 11 of Kent Ladd behind him as well, pulling the 81 of Travis Price. That's going to be the 97 of Garrett Robinson.
Yeah, Garrett Robinson riding in the 6th spot right now, trying to work his way around the 11 of Ken Ladd, and not too far in front of Ken as well. You mentioned it's Travis Pryor in that 81 truck. All of these guys, the top 6 under a blanket here, all still very much in contention for the lead right now.
Oh yeah, and they are catching up to each other. Very frustrated. They're catching up to each other, and they are staying within the same distance of each other. They have each other in sight. And at this point here, it's very difficult to distinguish. If I were to pick who was going to be the winner, it would be very, very difficult to do, because we do have so many amazing drives, and it's not over until it's over. And right now, as we speak, the 81 of Travis Pryor applying pressure to the 48 of Curtis Vollmer, but he falls short there on the exit of turn 2. Has no choice but to fall back in line. He tries to toss it into the inside of 48 of Vollmer, and he succeeds, and that moves Vollmer up the track. 81 of Travis Pryor will make a pass successfully here on the 48 of Vollmer, exiting turn 4 across the start finish line, and bumps himself up into 3rd.
That is for sure. That 81 truck now moves into the 3rd spot. As you said, that 48 fell back, and while those two were fighting side by side, that's pulling the 97 of Garrett Robinson ever closer to them now, who has made the move up to 5th. So Garrett looking good right now in that 97 truck, as he's trying to continue to move his way up through the top 5.
Yep, and Garrett as well has someone right behind, very close, an engine roaring in behind his rearview mirror. That's the 11 of Ken Ladd, but off turn 4, Garrett got a very good exit and was able to increase the distance quite a bit between him and the 11 of Ken Ladd here. So he does have a little bit of breathing room, but it won't be too comfortable just yet. And further back in the pack, we do have the 5 of Gary Woolbot here, just having a Sunday drive behind, but he has a motor roaring behind him as well. It's going to be the 05 Tommy Massey and the 75 of Rusty Farrell.
Yeah, definitely looking good right now as well. Some of these guys, you're right, just taking it easy right now. Looking like the 5 is maybe one of those. Gary Warbolt taking his time out back, being followed closely behind, as you said, by Tommy Amassi and Rusty Farrell. And these guys look like they're probably content to just ride at the back for now, wait until later on in the race, and then try to start making some moves later on.
And I am glad you noticed that right there, Ryan. Yep, these 3 drivers right here, they do like to ride in the beginning of the races and end up putting their feet down to the floor when it matters the most, which that might be less than 20 laps to go. And when it comes down to 5 to go, they even put their foot down further to increase that speed and take those names when it matters the most. And that is very good, great, smart driving.
That is for sure. It's moves like that put Gary Warbolt into the chase for the Truck Series last year. And Gary obviously looking to do the same this season, put that 5 truck in the chase just by being the safest driver and just being consistent out there each and every week. So definitely you see these guys playing the brain strategy game, as we like to call it, early on in the race.
Well, Ryan, while we got you here, this is the Online Sim Racing Network 114. Why don't you tell the viewers out there a little bit about Online Sim Racing Network, what they can expect and how they can find you guys?
Oh, you know, I mean, OSR Network is awesome. Me and Joe have been working together over there. Joe White is the owner of Online Sim Racing Network. He and I started together back in December of 2016. You can find us on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter as well. All 4 of those we do broadcast the races each and every week from, and you know, it's just an absolute pleasure to be able to work with Joe each and every week. Gave me the opportunity to come up in the booth with him back about 6-7 months ago, and it's been nothing but smooth sailing since then. And you know, we cover the Xtreme Motorsports 99.com Xfinity and Cup division. We also have the Monday Night Thunder League. We've got Joe calls the SRA Dirt League on Wednesday nights, which is live on the iRacing portal. Also working with Joe is John Wimbish. He covers some of the Monday Night Thunder races on on Monday and Tuesday with Joe. And Joe also has leagues such as Racing Freaks and a couple of other ones out there. So a lot of things happening with OSR Network right now.
And ladies and gentlemen, check them out at onlinesimracingnetwork.com and youtube.com/OSR Network. And once again, like I always talk about, thank you for joining us here on the Dre Broadcasting Network. We do broadcast the Xtreme Motorsports Pro Can-Am Series and the Truck Series, while Ryan and Joe White do cover the Xfinity Series and Cup Series on Wednesdays and Thursday nights. So you guys have unlimited entertainment coming to you live from different channels, the exact same amount of excitement or exciting racing, white knuckle racing. So you guys are always kept fed. So once again, check them out at onlinesimracingnetwork.com and youtube.com/OSR Network.
And thank you guys again for having me up here tonight. It's definitely a pleasure to be able to hop over here to Dre Broadcasting and do something a little bit different. It's not too common you see broadcast companies work together, so it's awesome to be able to do that with you guys each and every week here and what we do for not just Xtreme Motorsports 99, but other leagues in general. And right now, it looks like we're getting pit stop started. The 64, Michael Knight was the first car to hit the road, or hit the pit road.
Yeah, Michael Knight on pit road and Justin Roden right behind him. Both just rode off pit road. But now the leaders and all the drivers who have not yet pitted, except for those 2 drivers, have 27 laps on their tires. And once again, the fuel limit is 65%. So the pit window just might be from 25 laps through 30, but it's very difficult to tell. If it's not that, then it should be 30 to 35, but we're very close to it.
Yeah, I would say certain guys, maybe like Michael Knight, are currently with the long green flag run that we've had so far here, not to jinx it, but the first 28 laps being under green, looks like they're going to kind of go with the short pit strategy, see if they can't make some track position doing that, as guys like, obviously, Tom Wetmore, he'll put that truck out there as long as he can in the 6 machine, as we're now on lap 29, and you are right, I'm going to say the fuel window's probably in between 30-35 laps, so these guys I do expect see on pit road not too long from now.
And Ryan, what I find very interesting is how these pit strategies have their pros and cons. So for example, those guys who short pitted they'll have newer tires, so they will be able to gain a lot of time. But usually when they gain all that time back, they usually have burned up their stuff at that point, so that's a downside to it. And for the drivers who end up running their stuff dry, they might lose some time here and there, but they will still be able to gain it back as well, and we'll be able to catch those guys who have burned up their stuff.
Yeah, well, that is for sure. And obviously the guys here in the trucks here at Charlotte, the guys on new tires are going to be astronomically faster than the guys who are out on old tires. So right now, a guy like Michael Knight, that could not have worked better for him, especially with how long these leaders appear to be staying out, because he's going to do nothing but continue to try to make up time on anybody at least he was racing around when he did come in. But obviously near the end of the run for him as well now, it'll be a disadvantage, as his tires will be about 5 or 6 laps older than those guys who will obviously pit shortly.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of pitting in, we have some more drivers down pit road, Hunter McDaniel and Ken Ladd. And we have the top 18 drivers still staying out, and now the leaders have 32 laps on their tires. So Hunter pitted in with about 31 laps on his tires, and Hunter now rolls off pit road there. And so with the 11 of Ken Ladd, and speaking of 6 of Tom Whitmore, the current race leader, he has gained a lot of time over the the 81 of Travis Pry, who is in second place. And they are spread out about 1.1 seconds.
Yeah, these guys are starting to get spread out more and more. Obviously, with the more drivers that are coming in, that's going to spread out the field and put those guys that are pitting further at the back. But right now, you mentioned the top 19 or so, the first ones who are still out on the track. Jacob Bell now leaving pit road as well. It's just a matter of time, I would say, before Tom Wetmore comes in. And when the 6 comes in, I would say almost everybody else is going to follow him, as you don't want to lose too much time with the leader, as Tom is already putting on a good performance out in front in that 6 machine.
Oh, yeah. So many drivers out there like to do exactly what the leader does. So, yep, once he goes down pit road, it will influence a lot more drivers to do the exact same thing. And this now gives Tom Wetmore 34 laps on his tires, so fingers crossed. If he doesn't pit in this time by, we will be riding with him on his in-car just so we can see what it takes to pit in successfully. Looks like his speed is getting higher. Yep, he is going one more lap, but the 11 of Ken Ladd will be overtaking him. Once again, Ken Ladd is on newer tires, but Ken Ladd is being shown 2 laps down, and Ken Ladd is pit stop, actually 1 lap down. He was able to get 1 lap back right there. And Ken Ladd had a very, very slow pit stop. He had 29-second pit stop compared to that of the 15 Hunter McDaniel, which was 14 seconds. So he most likely sped.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. It sounds like maybe the 11 did probably speed on entry, trying to get slowed down, and may have caused him to have to take about a 30-second penalty in the pit lane there for speeding. So definitely going to hurt that 11 truck, but at least he was already able to get one of his laps back the hard way by getting around Tom Wetmore. Now it's just going to be a matter of Ken having to work and make sure he can keep that truck clean for the rest of the event, try to get back on the lead lap.
Oh, absolutely. And looking at it right now here, Ryan, Tom Wetmore still deciding to stay out. So I guess our pit window has now changed. It's now going to be, instead of 30 to 35, it's going to be from 35 to 40. And Tom Wetmore going down pit road this time by with 36 laps on his tires. He will be followed. Look at that. He's influencing everybody. Just like you had said, Ryan, you were right. Travis Pry right behind him. Curtis Vollmer, Garrett Robinson, Vern Bradley, Zachary Kraser, Jamie Christensen, and James Peterson as well. All down pit road, and that now leaves only 2 drivers left to pit.
Yeah, definitely a smart move there by a lot of these guys to come in as the 50 of Scott Minton as the new leader. He looks like he's going to be able to score some bonus points out here for leading a lap. I don't know that the 50 is going to come in just yet. Yes, he is. Actually, the 50 of Scott Minton has now just hit pit road. And Tommy and Massey will be the 1 truck left that has not pit, and he looks like he's about to follow the 50 as well. So that will be everybody, and now it's just going to be a matter of where these guys cycle out of the pits.
Yep, the drivers keep an eye on so far will be 64 of Michael Knight, who had the earliest pit stop. Looking at 65 of Michael Knight, he is currently 13th here, making some heavy moves. We'll have some trouble on the track here. One driver spun off turn 2 by the looks of it. Let's see if we can catch a number on that driver.
I believe it was the 58.
Well, yep, that's a 58 of James Peterson. Had some bad luck on the apron on the exit of pit road there. That he will lose a lot of time. He did smack the wall with the front end. Holy cows, that's some bad luck. for James Peterson. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, that's for sure. Definitely unfortunate for the 58 of James Peterson. Looks like he was just trying to get off a pit lane, and obviously the 6 car of Tom Wetmore was battling him immediately because obviously we're still under green. You have to keep fighting for all the positions you can. It looks like the 58 might have just gotten loose on that apron.
Oh yeah, that apron is not your friend there. It's very curvy. And speaking of Peterson, he is getting towed down to pit road. He does have some heavy damage on the front end. Once again, he did make contact with the front end, nose first into the wall there off turn 2. But the good thing is the drivers here do have one backup track, so he has one brand new one waiting for him in case of things like that. So he should be able to get that one out and be back out there racing with these guys. And speaking of that, he does have a brand new truck. It's back out there, 4 tires, full tank of gas, and he will be rolling off here shortly.
That is for sure. And
well, I was just going to say, during that cycle there, it looks like Hunter McDaniel is going to overtake the lead. But taking a look, he has got 6 more laps than Tom Wetmore, as Tom Wetmore is just catching him in a hurry. Taking a look at my stats, right now Tom Wetmore leading the most laps with 22. Hunter McDaniel with 16. And Scott Mitten leading 2 laps. So these guys are battling out. I think this is going to be the battle here come the end of the race.
yeah, that is for sure.
And that tire difference right there, Ryan, will make a very big difference. It's going to be very negative for the for 57 Hunter McDaniel. What I noticed about Hunter McDaniel, before he went down pit road, actually, he was in the lead. He was, after he was in the lead, he got bumped down to 2nd place and got freight train from there on. He burned up his stuff by the looks of it and went from 2nd place down to about 9th place before pitting in. So he did burn up his stuff by the looks of it. He is struggling in the long run.
Yeah, that is for sure. That 57 truck did look like it was having some problems over the course of the run, and right now has already gotten passed for the lead again by the 6 of Tom Wetmore. And with all those pit stops, it has spread out the field ever more than it was before. Obviously now the 65 of Marty Ray finds himself in 3rd. Chris, Jabot in 4th, and Curtis Vollmer now in the 5th spot.
That's a nice try. It's going to be Chris Gibew there in the 24 in the 4th place spot. And right now he's trying to catch that 65 of Marty Ray. And they will be spread out about actually, nope, that's going to be over. It's a few seconds there, but it looks like he is in the draft of the 65 of Marty Ray. So here he should be able to suck him in a little bit every single lap. But looking at Chris Gibew's front end right now, Ryan, he does have some damage on it.
Yes, he does, and I apologize to Chris if he sees us for butchering his last name. Just inexperience up here in the booth as far as some of the drivers once more, but definitely that 24 truck looking strong right now. Chris Gibew in that 24, and you're right, the front end does have a little bit of damage to it. I don't think it's affecting him too much right now, but it may as the run continues to go on, and we'll definitely be able to tell once the 48 and the 81 of Travis Pryor, if they are able to run down the 24 truck.
Yes, speaking of Travis Pryor and Curtis Vollmer, these drivers are in each other's draft. They're spread out by 0.1 seconds, 0.1 of a second. So they are close to each other, and they will get close to each other before they can catch that 24 of Chris Gibew, who might be a sitting duck, but it will be difficult to tell. Here, things do cycle out differently. And for the back in the pack, the 28 of Chris Voiles behind the 97 of Garrett Robinson here. He is in his draft as well, and behind him, he does the 77 of Jacob Bell. Actually, it's going to be 58 of James Peterson. Peterson was able to roll off pit road, but Peterson right now being shown 4 laps down. So at this point, Ryan, Peterson is hoping for a caution.
Yeah, that's for sure. Peterson's definitely going to need the yellow here, being 4 laps down. Definitely unfortunate with what happened to him there as they exited the pit lane. But same thing can be said as well for the 59 of David White, who finds himself the first car 1 lap down right now, and he appears to be getting freight trained by the group that he's riding with right now, as he's running up there right around the 19th spot with Brian Wasserman and Rusty Farrell.
Yep, and up in front of them, they're coming up to a class of 75. Rusty Farrell applying pressure to the 39 of Zachary Crazer. They go side by side here through turns number 1 and 2. And through the end of Crazers makes his stick on the outside. He will get the slingshot off turn 2. So it's a bad day for 75 of Rusty Farrow, but Rusty still planting his foot down the floor to make it count. And through the end of Crazer was able to clear the 75 of Farrow. Yep, he's still clear of him here entering turn 3, but he stayed high and drifted way too high there, which allows 75 of Farrow to come up to him. But on the exit of turn 4, Zach did also get that slingshot once again because he was in that high lane, and they are coming up some drivers who are battling up in front of them, namely Justin Roden, Damian Crump, and the 50 of Mitten, who go back single file, just like just when I was speaking.
Yeah, these guys having a good battle up in front of them, and Zachary Kreiser in that 39 now going to look to the inside of the 27 of Justin Rodden, going to make the pass look easy on the bottom as they head through turn 3 and 4, and that 39 now looks to try to get closer to the 12 of Damian Crump and the 50 of Scott Mitten.
And Ryan going back to the drivers who had pitted in first, 64 of Michael Knight, currently in the 13th place position. Probably not the worst place he could be, after having a short pit like that, but that means he will be having to go down pit road again. He will be the first one to go down pit road for the next round of green flag pit stops. So at this point, he does have way more laps on his tires than everybody else.
Yeah, that is for sure. And, if the fuel window is 35 laps, that means basically the next time that 64 is going to have to hit the pit road is right around lap 59. So it's not too far off. He's got about 8 laps left in that 64 truck. So he's holding his own pretty well here to have so much older tires than the guys he's running with. But if he's going to try to make this short run work, he's going to have to be flawless in and off the pit road the rest of the race, especially if this thing stays green.
And Ryan, you have had some experience here. You were part of the, or you are part of the track series here. And would you recommend taking 2 tires on the trucks?
I would not under green like this. I would if it was a shorter run, maybe near the end of the race, or if the caution came out and you wanted to try it. But it would have to be a short enough run to give it a test, because unfortunately with the new tire model they put on these trucks as of the update of this past week, I don't actually know the handle of the trucks at this track anymore. But from past experience, a 2-tire change would really only be effective if it was about a 10-lap dash at the end.
Oh, 10-4, that does make a lot of sense. And yeah, it does sound like for a green flag run like this, it would be bad for you, because it does seem as though you taking only 2 tires will make the car or truck very, very unbalanced and unstable here in the long run. And speaking of 64, Michael Knight, he is losing a lot of time here. He is pushing very heavy off the exit of turn 2, so that tire is kicking in at this point. Looks like he has, try and catch the name here, he's got 30 laps on his tires, so that gives him about 5 more laps before he has to go down pit road.
Yeah, that is for sure. That 64 truck is obviously to the end of its cycle here, and he just came across the radio. He may be pitting this time by.
Yep, that speed is getting lower here. He is pitting in this time by. With 30 laps on his tires, he was sideways on the entrance there, but he was able to hang on to it, keep it under control. Down from 180 plus to 50 miles an hour, which is the pit speed limit. And going back up front, 57 Hunter McDaniel was in second place last time we checked on him, but holy cow, he has been losing some time.
Yeah, Hunter McDaniel in the same basic position there as the 64. At some point, those tires are going to give up the ghost, as they say, for the 57. But Hunter has definitely been able to keep that 57 looking stronger. As you mentioned, he short pitted on the first cycle and was not as strong later in the run as he appears to be now. Still able to hold that 57 truck in 4th. I do expect the 57, though, as you just mentioned, Sean, to come in very shortly.
Oh, absolutely, and by very shortly, that might be the next 4 laps here, 4 to 5 laps, because he does have 27 laps on his tires now. Crossing the start-finish line this time by, and the driver who's the happiest at this point here, Ryan, is the 6th of Tom Wetmore.
Yeah, that is for sure. Tom has had a truck that's looked very, very strong since the drop of the green. He was able to get up front, take the lead. We've seen what Tom Wetmore can do. Obviously, last year's champion here in the Xtreme Motorsports99.com Truck Series, and looking very strong early on in the season as well, looking to retain that title here. As he also runs the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series every once in a while here as well for Xtreme Motorsports 99. So a very talented driver in that 6 machine, and Tom continues to run that truck out in front. He's probably got about another 6 or 7 laps, I would say, before he's going to come in.
Oh yeah, speaking of Tom, he has won the last 2 races that we've had at Kansas and Atlanta before that. So if he wins tonight's race, that will give him his 3rd win in a row. That will be quite something. But ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the halfway mark. So we will take our first commercial break of tonight's race, so you guys can get your first round of popcorn and refreshments, and so we can thank our sponsors. We'll be right back, so stay tuned.
Racing, you wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Online Sim Racing Network 114, part of round 4 of the Xtreme Motorsports 99 Camping World Truck Series. Well, going back to the race here, we still have the 6 of Tom Wetmore in the lead, but his lead has been getting nothing but lower. Last time he was, before we went to commercial break, he was about 4.5 to 4.6 seconds ahead of second place driver 81 Travis Pryor and that 48 of Curtis Vollmer. But now that lead has decreased down to about 3.2 seconds here. So that's more than a second there. So, and by the looks of it, actually, 6 of Wetmore is pushing very hard in the turns. So those tires are gone because he now has 33 laps on his tires.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking about coming in very shortly. He made it 36 laps on the first run, and as you mentioned, 33 laps right now. So Tom obviously mustn't have much longer to go, as it looks at the 5 truck of Gary Warbolt, who's just in front of Tom. Looks like he's going to come in this time, or he may actually just be letting Tom by.
No, but actually, Gary Warbolt is pitting in this time by. You were right. Pitting in this time by behind. That's going to be the 4 of Brand Cool. And last time, Tom Wetmore pitted in, I believe, with about 36 laps on his tire. So if he continues that pit strategy, and something tells me, Ryan, that might be them running the tank dry 36 laps. And that's safe to say, I think.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you there. 36 laps and a 65% tank of fuel is probably right around the max you're going to get out of these trucks. And with Tom being so far out in front, really the best thing he can do, and what something he may be doing, in fact, is with such a big lead right now, he could even probably back off a little bit, continue to save fuel, make his pit stop a little bit shorter, so that when they do finally come in for that final stop, Tom doesn't need to stay in quite as long to get all that fuel.
Oh yeah, and right now here he's actually having to worry about the 81 of Travis Pryor, because now he went from 3.2 seconds to 2.7, and holy cow, Tom Wetmore is almost coming to a complete stop, entering turns number 3 and 4 there, so that truck is done with those tires. And it's very rare to see here on iRacing there, Ryan, but some drivers have blown tires.
Yeah, it is. It's my understanding that apparently iRacing is adding the tire failures here at some point in the future. So as of late, there have been reports of people having tire failures. Hopefully the 6 truck is not one of those victims, but he's coming down pit road very fast.
You probably heard us talking about that, and that gives him 36 laps on his tires, and that just might pass the lead on to the that's going to be Jamie Christensen in the 88. And speaking of Jamie, actually Jamie is pitting in this time by, so Scott Mitten is next in line. Let's see if Scott stays out.
Yeah, Scott Mitten has chosen to stay on the track, as has the 39 of Zachary Kreiser, who's not too far behind. Looks like everybody else has come in. Tommy Massey is the next one that is still out on the track, and the 24 is well behind him.
Yep, and of these drivers, the 37 of Zachary Kreiser has stayed out the longest here with 37 laps on his tires. So, yep, I guess we can correct that. The caution comes out here on lap 74. We're going to back it up and see who might have been involved in that. But that's not a good thing for those guys who are in pit road. Very unfortunate for them. Hunter McDaniel, heavy smoke, heavy damage on that 57 machine. Holy cow, that truck has seen better days. Let's back it up on Hunter McDaniel, focusing on replay.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to also involve the 39 of Zachary Kreiser. Looks like he was coming slow here through turn 3 and 4. Hunter McDaniel coming in a mission, gets into the back end of him, puts him up in the wall. That is going to take a few trucks out here. That's going to be highly fortunate here for our first caution of the night here on lap 74.
Oh man, what happened there? 39 of Zachary Kreiser was pitting in, was slowing down there, and they were coming out at him at a very fast rate, and that is a recipe for disaster. Very unfortunate for all drivers involved. Hopefully they still have their one backup truck handy so they can be able to counter that and stay out and get a brand new one actually, and still stay competitive and stay in it to win it. But this caution is not a good thing for Tom Wetmore and the other guys who are on pit road.
No, it was not, and it's going to trap a lot of those guys further back in the field. However, the only advantage really there was that Tom Wetmore, I don't believe, had gone a lap down. So the real guys who are going to hurt from this are Scott Mitten and Tommy Massey, who are going to have to come in now. And I don't believe they were able to put the lap on Tom Wetmore as of yet, but definitely unfortunate, as you guys mentioned, for the 39 of Zachary Kreiser, just trying to come to the pit lane. Hunter McDaniel, I believe, on fresher tires, just all over the back of him. No, probably wasn't expecting the 39 to come in, and 39 may have actually had to take a penalty just now because I think he was out of gas and had to pit when the pit road was closed.
Oh man, that's definitely unfortunate for those drivers. Zachary Kraser. And yeah, Zachary Kraser electing to not use his backup truck just yet. Well, his front end is very clean, but his back end is the one that's curved in. And Ryan, looking at it right now, his rear end, and Dave, if you can show the viewers the rear end of the 39 of Kraser, maybe it's not too bad. It's not as bad as it looks.
Perhaps it looks like he's coming back in again here. I think maybe to avoid going a lap down, he just got the fuel and tires, and maybe this time we'll take the faster pair. It just depends if that 39 is underpowered. After a serious hit like that, though, I was actually quite surprised that Zach did not take the faster pair.
A moment of truth right here. Yep, still not taking the fast repair, so he's staying on pit road a little bit longer here to let his pit crew try their best to minimize that damage the best they can. Well, if he's confident enough, maybe then the truck will be able enough to keep up to speed and stay competitive and save that backup truck for a rainy day. But that's going to be a bad thing for him if the caution doesn't come out.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to help his cause if the caution doesn't come out. But Zachary Kraser is still on the lead lap, and he's going to get as much of that damage fixed as he can before the pace car comes by. And not too bad a strategy to save that faster pair, because you know what they say, cautions breed cautions, and with this being the first caution of the night and all these guys are going to be re-bunched up again, it is very possible we could see another yellow flag here.
Oh, that is very, very nicely said. And go ahead, Dave.
Well, I was just going to say another thing to look at is Tom Wetmore was just coming off pit road when that yellow came out. He's got 5 laps on his tires, but they have pretty much all been under the yellow flag, and we are now 38 laps to go. The thing is if there's another caution, he may be able to just be able to extend this without having to come down pit road again.
That's a very good observation right there, Dave. And yeah, looking at it right now, actually those two drivers, Scott Mitten and I believe that's the 05 of Tommy and Marcy, the guys who just pitted in under this caution, and Vern Bradley as well, who's on pit road as we speak. Will be going green with about 37 laps remaining. And we saw Zachary Kraser push it about 38 laps on his tires. So if those guys can be able to make it, yep, that's going to make it nearly impossible for 6 of Wetmore to be able to make it without having to pit in one more time. So that's something to look out for, and that will shake things up.
Yeah, that is for sure, as these guys are coming at the restart, and something happened to the 14 there. Looks like he might have blown his motor.
Oh, absolutely. Vern Bradley has actually retired for the night as well. Very, very unfortunate for Vern Bradley. And look at that. The 6 of Wetmore doing the exact same thing he does almost every single racing track. He is electing to start on the outside line this restart.
Yeah, that is for sure. Tom Wetmore looking like he's going to want that outside line, as it's been the place to be. The fact that you can hold these trucks wide open through 1 and 2, able to give these guys the momentum on the outside, possibly coming out of turn 2. But also to mention, the 48 of Curtis Vollmer is sort of a teammate there to the 6 truck, from my understanding. So definitely having a guy like that to your inside, not going to be too bad on this restart. Curtis and Tom probably going to try to orchestrate it so that they are the first 2 trucks in line without any issues by the time they get out of turn 2.
Yep, that's one good thing about being a leader here. You can't control the start, and you do have lane choice. And yep, we're going to see exactly how this happens. But that 81 of Travis Prime, that 24 of Chris Gibby, these guys will be all over these guys like fudge cake on Sunday once these guys go green, to try and avoid being caught off guard as we enter turns number 3 and 4. Well, Ryan, do the honors.
All right, well, we're getting ready here. The pace car is going to pull off, and going to send these trucks flying here as we're getting ready to take the green, waiting on the 48. And the 6 car is going to make the jump there. Tom Wetmore is going to restart the field, and these guys are going to get ready to fight to turn 1. And as we mentioned there, the 6 and the 48 looking like they're going to line up going into 1 and 2.
And that gives the battle to the 81 of Pryor and the 24 of Gibby, who then go back single foul here. But that 81 of Travis Pryor was able to get around the 24 of Chris Gibby, and that switches positions. 3rd and 4th, Travis Pryor going up to 3rd, Chris Gibby down to 4th. And right behind them, they do have the 7 of Brian Wasserman and 12 of Trump battling. And the 12 of Damian Crump, here, the previous season standings leader of the Pro K&N Series. He's making some moves here in this late stage. Oh, he gets loose there on the high sideline, was able to hang on to it. And now his next victim will be the 88 of Jamie Christensen.
Yeah, these guys racing side by side everywhere. And we talked about the 50 of Scott Minton and the 05 of Tommy and Massey. Those two, this could not have worked out better for them. They were so much further back in the field before that last caution, but when they had chosen to stay out, and with all the wave arounds and all the guys that cycled through, they were able to pit, come out 5th and 6th, and they continue to ride there. Scott Minton looking to the inside of the 24, and now he's looking to apply pressure to the back of the 81, I believe.
Yeah, that's gonna be behind the 97 of Gary Robinson. Gary Robinson is one of the heaviest drivers here in the track series here this season. He does know how to get the job done, but being shown a lap down, one of the victims of the caution, catching their bad time while on pit road, and went a lap down because of that. So hoping for a caution with a 19 of Andy Starcher, 28 Chris Voyles, 27 of Justin Rodden, 86 of Adam Eisenhower, 75 of Rusty Farah, and 64 of Michael Knight. All these guys are just mentioned fighting for the lucky dog.
Yeah, a lot of cars one lap down right now, and as you mentioned there, Garrett Robinson leads that group. The closest one to him is the 19 of Andy Starcher, who has definitely got some ground to make up on that 97 if he wants to get this free pass. Garrett really just needs to keep it smart, hope for a caution here. He's got that truck running in what would be the 4th position if he was on the lead lap, so definitely looking strong still, and that 97, despite being a lap down, time to, I would say, just continue to ride it out, get the best finish you can out of it. Even if he finishes a lap down, 14th is still a very respectable position for that 97 car.
Oh, that's absolutely right. 14th definitely is better than the 15th place position. And Ryan, I'm noticing something a little bit weird here. I didn't notice it until now, but Hunter McDonough is now being shown 3 laps down. Well, yeah, I remember he was involved in one of the incidents there. But right now he is 3 laps down in the 25th place position. So he too is hoping for even more than one caution so he can be able to get as many laps back as possible.
Yeah, Hunter's going to need to hope for some cautions and get some wave arounds here in that 57. You're right. He had a lot of damage, and I'm not sure what happened, but definitely not looking good right now for that 57 truck, and he's definitely going to have some work to do. Looks like as well right now, that 39 machine, we talked about all the damage that Zachary Kreiser had. He appears to be having a world of trouble in that 39 truck.
Oh yeah, he's right now he's trying to draft off the 59 of David White as a way to kind of counter that damage the best he can. But he does have the 5 of Gary Woolbot catching up to him at a very fast rate. That speed difference is quite great here. Looks like he's being able to propel in the turns, but on the straightaway he is being sucked in or pulled in by that 5 of Gary Woolbot, who is faster on the straightaways due to him having a brand new machine, not a single scratch on that Budweiser machine.
Yeah, that's for sure. Gary Warbold obviously as well, 2 laps down in that 5 truck. We talked about him earlier, trying to be smart, just trying to keep that truck clean to the end. Still not a scratch on that 5 truck, and just definitely unfortunate the way the cautions fell, or the way the one caution fell for him, stuck him 2 laps down, and now he's going to have to, just like everybody else, hope to get a caution, get a wave around, and get back on at least 1 lap down so that he can try to get back on the lead lap at some point. But right now, looking like we're about to set into another longer green flag run. These guys are the ones that are up at the front. You know, you look at guys like Scott Minton right now. He is starting a little bit to reel in the back of what is the 97 in front of him, and he's got behind him the 4 of Brent Cool and the 05 of Tommy Amassi as well. So Scott Minton and Tommy Amassi, again, may have put themselves in a great spot here to try to come out of here, not just with a top 5, but potentially a win here.
Oh yeah, and also them having 2 laps less than the leaders up there. Tom Wetmore, Curtis Vollmer, and Travis Pryor. That does give them quite a little bit of an advantage there for this green flag run that we're about to see here. And that 4 of Brent coming very close to the 50 of Scott Minton. He will give him a little bit of a push here. Almost touched him actually entering turn 3, but was able to back off of him. And yep, they are now catching the 97 of Garrett Robinson. And at the same time, Garrett is catching up to the next truck in line, the 81 of Travis Pryor. And Travis here most likely is going to apply some pressure to the 48 of Curtis Vollmer.
Yeah, the two trucks out in front continue to lead the group here. 6 of Tom Whitmore, and not far behind him, as you just said, the 48 of Curtis Vollmer. But Travis Pryor applying a lot of pressure to the back of the 48, trying to get him loose, trying to get him to make a mistake so that he can try to make this pass. And something that may come into effect here in not too long. That 6 truck of Tom Whitmore starting to catch some lap traffic as the 81's now looking to the inside of the 48.
Yep, Travis Pryor makes a pass successfully against 48 of Vollmer. Is he gonna do the crossover move? He didn't have enough to do it. Well, he's on the back bumper of 81 of Pryor. He might try and adjust it into the inside. Nope, 81 Pryor goes down to the bottom lane, taps the apron, almost loses it. That pushes him up the track a little bit, but is able to hang on to it there regardless. Very nicely done on his part, and still surprisingly maintained all his speed, all his momentum, and did not lose any time whatsoever by the looks of it. And yep, right now 71 of Chris Thorman here being caught by the leader, the 6 of Wetmore, and everybody else behind. Looking at Chris Thorman, he does have some heavy damage on the front end of that machine, the right front, namely, he will stay high to let them by.
Yeah, those lap drivers there, the 71 giving plenty of room to the leaders right now. But I do want to say this. First time, I think even you guys may have heard this one all season, looks like the 81 is actually starting to reel in Tom Wetmore. That 81 Tundra looking strong there. Travis Pryor, he might have something for Tom here as we're coming down to what's going to be right around 25 laps to go or so.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Travis Pryor, you know, he had some bad luck last night in the Pro K&N series, but he is back here trying to redeem himself. That's one thing about these drivers, what I've noticed, Ryan, is that every time they have a bad race in the Pro K&N series, they do somehow have a better race and even win the races here in the Truck series. So it's very good motivation for them.
Yeah, that's for sure. The K&N car is, to me, it's a lot like the Xfinity car of now, in that it's a car that is a lot of fun to drive. It's pretty easy to drive. These trucks, though, are right about the same as the K&N car, maybe a little bit even easier to drive in some circumstances. So a lot of these guys that are good in the K&N car are really good in these trucks, and that's definitely showing right now as Travis Pryor is not just reeling in. He has caught the back end of Tom Wetmore, and he's looking to try to make this pass here, as I do believe these guys will have to make at least one more pit stop. So that 81 would love nothing more than to be the guy who's controlling this line and try to beat that 6 car whenever it is Tom goes to pit.
Yep, and at this point, no doubt, Wetmore is feeling the pressure. That rear view mirror will be filled here in no time. He has caught him at a fast rate. And yep, he will be trying to play some mind games, going high and low, trying to make him mess up. And that's one thing about this, Ryan. It's very difficult to not focus on your rear view mirror when you have someone right on your rear end.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's something that even I'm not very good at. A lot of guys in here will, mirror drive, as it's called. You look in the mirror, you see that guy coming behind you, you start to feel the pressure, and because you're not paying attention to what's in front of you for that split second, you might make a mistake, and that's exactly what that guy behind you wants you to do. Now, Tom Wetmore's the caliber of driver, caliber of a champion, may not make that kind of mistake, and right now, one thing that I am noticing for sure is that 6 car is arcing it into the corner a little bit more. That's going to save his tires more than the 81, who is riding right around that white line the entire time through 1 and 2. So right now, Tom Wetmore may have the 81 doing exactly what he wants him to do, rather than the 81 trying to get the 6 to make a mistake.
Yeah, that's a very good observation and very nice strategy by the 6 of Tom Wetmore. Looking at both drivers right now, they now have 26 laps on their tires, so they should be pitting in here in the next 5 to 10 laps, and this now gives us the 17 to go mark. So it will be go time once we see those green flag pit stops kick in, but we have so many drivers here hoping for a caution, because at this point we only have 11 drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, with the way that last caution fell, a lot of these guys, still a lap down and whatnot, and right now Zachary Kreiser has actually worked his way up into the top 10, as I believe 12 of Damian Crump either had an issue or he just came out of the pits, but that 12 machine is very slow right now as they come out of turn 4.
And Ryan, I'm actually wondering, a thought just came to my mind, but let's take the case of the 27 of Justin Rodden. Let's say a caution came out right now, and 97 of Garrett Robinson got the wave around. If you were the 27 of Justin Rodden, would you would you pit in to avoid getting that lucky dog, or pit in to get new tires, but that avoids your chance to get the lucky dog, or would you stay out, get the lucky dog, and hope for a caution? How would you handle the situation?
I mean, right now, if I'm 27, really, if the caution came out right now, being how late it is in the race, it's kind of 50-50 for me. For me personally, I probably would be more apt to try to stay out and get the wave around on a normal circumstance, but given that there's so few laps left, it would be better off for the 27, even if Garrett Robinson does get the lucky dog, rather than try to stay out and take that wave around. Unless you're the only truck to do it and it's going to put you in a good position, you're not going to make up any time on those old tires, so it's really not going to help you that much to stay out and take the wave around at this point.
Oh, very true indeed. Yep, that's quite the tough decision there for the 27 of Justin Roden, but it's difficult to tell because things do happen, and these guys who are eligible for the lucky dog, it's determined by whether or not they're involved in an incident. If they do get an incident, that does void their chance. So right now, Justin is hoping for the worst for Garrett Robinson, so he can be able to benefit from it and advance his spot to the 11th place position. And at this point now, we only have the top 10 drivers on the lead lap. And looking at my stats right now, we had one driver who just pitted in as we spoke. The 19 of Andy Starcher just exited pit road. He's now being shown 2 laps down on the apron here, getting up to speed here on the back straightaway, being the first truck for his second round of green flag pit stop. So I guess third round technically, because some drivers have pitted in twice already, and it caught them at a bad time during that caution that we had out there. Yep, Andy Starcher pitting in, that the first driver pitting in, so that most likely is going to influence some of the other ones behind him or ahead of him. And his next victim right now for position will be the 5 of Gary Ubos, because they're both a lap down, or 2 laps down.
And just a point of note here, I don't know what happened, but the 48 just got spun as they came out of turn 2 when he was running in the 3rd spot there.
Oh man, yep, he does have some left rear damage. Oh, I'm backing up on my end here. Looks like there was some contact between him and the 97 of Garrett Robinson. Oh, actually, he tapped the apron, which got him loose. And when he got loose, it did slow him down quite a bit. And the 97 of Garrett Robinson had nowhere to go and gave him a little bit of a lap tap, which contributed to that incident. Very unfortunate for Curtis Vollmer indeed. But Curtis right now still determined to make up as much time as possible to try and counter that. And we have the 81 of Travis Pryor pitting in this time by following the lead of the 19 of Andy Starcher.
Yeah, that is for sure. And right now, looking up in the front, one thing that it has entered my mind here, with these guys having to pit with less than 10 laps to go, I would assume it begs the question. I don't know that somebody like Tommy Amassi or Scott Mitten, even with the 2 more laps of fuel than the leaders, will be able to make it all the way. But would you dare consider coming in and just getting a splash of fuel to make it to the end?
I personally would do that. Yeah, look, we now have less than 10 laps remaining, so that would be the way to go. And I'm also looking at the pit stop of the 81 of Travis Pryor, which was 7.9 seconds. So he only took right sides with a little bit of gas in order to be able to make it all the way. We're going to see how this affects him, but right now he is overtaking trucks left and right, catching the 75 of Rusty Farrow at a very fast rate. So he might be getting around him here as though he's sitting on jack stands. And that 75 Rusty Farrow will stay low to let him by 81. Travis Pryor right now trying to catch up to the 27 of Justin Roden, and that is the position.
Well, I'm going to say this right now, the 6 of Tom Wetmore, I don't think he's going to pit. I think he's going to try to make it to the end. I'm riding on board with the 6 machine, and each and every time he goes into the corner in 3 and 4, he's pushing in the clutch and coasting. So he's going to try, it sounds like, to make that 6 make it, but we got a huge crash down the back straightaway.
Oh, it involves 65 of Marty Ray and the 27 of Justin Roden, but the green flag will stay out here. No caution. Holy cow, this will make some drivers a little bit angry, especially the 2 drivers there, Justin Roden and 65 of Marty Ray. But that did not bring in a caution.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate there for those guys having incidents here under green, but you're getting the guys who are on fresh tires versus the guys who are trying to make it to the end now. And I will say this, Scott Mitten and Tommy Amassi are continuing to try to reel in that 6 of Wetmore. I think the 50 might be able to make it to the end here. it could definitely be down to the wire. Will the 6 be able to make it to the end, especially when he's clutching it like he is going through the corners?
Oh, right now he has 38 laps on his tires. That's the most I've seen a driver push it in this race tonight here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The previous drive was the 37 of Zachary Crazer. I believe Zachary Crazer pushed it at 38 laps as well. But now Tom Whitmore is coming to his 39th lap, and we have 5 laps remaining. Nope. Oh, he's backing down to almost 150 miles an hour, which is 20 miles, actually 10 miles slower than he was before in the turns. So yep, he is definitely backing that sucker down, saving some gas, and yep, he is clutching it in here. I'm not sure if he can be able to save that much gas there, Ryan. I'm having some doubts.
Yeah, I am as well. That's a lot to ask out of that 6 truck. And the thing is, with that 50 being 2 laps to the good, if the 6 thinks he can make it and Scott can save enough, Scott Mitten and Tommy Massey may have gone from being near the end of the lead lap after that first caution to putting themselves in not just a position to race for the lead, but could win this race in a 1-2 finish with that 50 and 05 truck, because they're both still just behind Tom Wetmore, and they continue to reel him in. Now, Marty Ray in the 65 is still out there as well, and I believe the first driver who came and got tires is Travis Pryor in 8th, and he's still 28 seconds out of the lead.
Yep, that 81 of Travis Pryor here was actually able to get his lap back the hard way, but yep, 27 seconds behind the leader, and this now gives us only 8 drivers on the lead lap, with the first truck on the first truck a lap down will be the 28 of Chris Voiles. And right now, Travis Pryor not making up as much time on the leaders as I had thought, and we now have 2 laps remaining, so it's going to be nearly impossible for him to catch those leaders. But yep, going back up front, the 50 of Scott Mitten within less than half a second on the 6 of Tom Wetmore. That's some bad news for Wetmore, and this is the white flag. Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to talk about how the 6 of Wetmore is trying to defend his spot. Looks like he's running out of gas. Yes, he is out of gas. He is coasting. Hopefully he can be able to make it down to the start finish line, but right now 50 of Mitten will be bringing this thing home unchanged. The 05 Tommy Massey running out of gas as well there. Entering turns number 3 and 4. It is sputtering. Is he going to pitting in? Nope, he will be coasting to the start finish line. 65 Marty Ray next in line will be running out of gas as well. He's out of gas. Holy cow. He comes out in 4th place, so that gives us Scott Mitten bringing it home here with the running motor. 65 Marty Ray coming out 2nd, 05 Tommy Massey 3rd, and the 6 of Wetmore in the 4th place position. So we had 3 of the top 5 drivers run out of gas across the start finish line, and that 81 of Travis Pryor with the top 5.
Gotta give the hats off, though. Absolutely outstanding strategy there by the 50 and the 05 there. Caught that caution just right. We talked about they might have a shot, and it yielded a win for Scott Mitten. As far as I know, the second one at XtremeMotorsports99.com here. The last one he got was last season at Las Vegas, and has now just done it here tonight. He ran out of gas at the line. They had just enough fuel in that 50. He's not even going to be able to do a burnout in that 50 truck.
Oh man, very unfortunate. We look forward to seeing our burnouts every single race, but they have to do what they have to do. But very nice done by these guys once again. And we'll be interviewing the top 3 drivers: Scott Mitten, Marty Ray, Tommy Massey, and also the 81 of Travis Pryor. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Scott Mitten, this is Ryan Daniels in the Dre Broadcasting booth. Do you have a copy?
Yep, I got you, man.
Well, Scott, first, congratulations on your second win here at XtremeMotorsports99.com's Truck Series. You you were able to get the strategy down there at the end when that caution fell, put yourself in position to win this race. Did you think you would be able to do it here and having to save enough fuel in that 50 Tundra?
Wow, that was pretty intense. If we hadn't had that caution, I could have gone probably another 2.5 laps before I had to stop, which I think would have taken me to the end. So if it would have been no caution race, green all the way, I think I could have done it on 2 stops. I think it would have been close, but ended up being pretty close, even with that caution. And wow, it's crazy.
Well, it was definitely impressive to see what you were able to do in that 50 truck. And what would you have said the toughest part of the race was for all you guys out there?
I mean, green flag run like that. I mean, it's just, you just gotta, hit every lap. You gotta, watch your fuel. You gotta keep pace. Just kind of keep your surroundings, aware. You're playing driver and crew chief, so you gotta kind of keep an eye on the fuel. And I know it's kind of fun to do it that way. It's not just, cautions all the time. You gotta use a little bit of strategy, and it's always fun to, be able to be in a race that you can do that kind of thing.
Well, definitely thank you for coming up here and talking with us. Congratulations on your second win here at XtremeMotorsports99.com, your first of the season. Is there anybody out there you want to thank for picking up this win here tonight?
Just thanks to the guys at Xtreme Motorsports that put this on. It's a great league to race in. It's a lot of fun. I have a good time racing here, so I'm glad I was able to, have the opportunity to race with these guys. And then thanks to Ferocity Motorsports and representing Detroit, Michigan.
All right, Scott, thank you for coming up here and talking with us. Again, congratulations on your win here tonight.
Thanks, man.
And that was the 50 of Scott Mitten, but right behind him is the 65 of Marty Ray, who as well had to coast to the start-finish line. You get a cup there, Marty?
10-4, I gotcha.
How did tonight?
I'm doing okay, breathing, getting some air now.
I can only imagine. Man, that was quite a strategy on your part. We were doubting after that you guys would be able to make it, even with the heavy saving that you guys were doing out there. And Marty, we noticed you got involved in an incident there that put you nose first, or I should say right side first into the wall. How were you able to succeed despite some setbacks tonight?
I couldn't believe it was happening. I didn't even know who it was or how it happened, but the car was facing the wall, and I just kind of turned the wheel to the left, and it straightened out, and I just stepped on the gas, and it just kept going. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I made that.
Well, brother, we are glad that despite that you were able to pull through that. And last race we had at Kansas for the Toyota Tundra 250, you did finish in the 65, in the 9th place position, not 65 place position, but the 9th place spot. And tonight improving that and having a 2nd place spot. Would you define that as a success?
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
I was saying, would you define your performance compared to that of Kansas as a success here tonight?
Oh, I really like Charlotte. I've done a lot of laps here, and I feel comfortable at this track. And I was around a lot of great drivers. All these guys were really, really good. A lot of respect going on out there on the track. Nobody's trying to run anybody over. It was really, really good running on this track today.
Well, brother, congratulations on your success tonight after coming from the 9th place spot from last week at Kansas to 2nd place this week. Very, very impressive. And look forward to seeing you win. You have your first win for that race. Before you go, any final words?
Yeah, and thanks for that. I'd like to thank XtremeMotorsports99.com for everything they do. Rick Donathan and John Houston for all the work they do with the admin, Dre for helping us get this broadcast, and iBog. Thanks for all your help, guys, and we look forward to our race next week.
Well, brother, once again, congratulations, and look forward to seeing you again at Dover International. Have a good one.
10-4, you too, thanks.
And that was 65 of Marty Ray. And Ryan, were you able to get a hold of the 05 of Tommy Amasi?
Yes, I'm down here, Tommy and Massey. This is Ryan Daniels in the Dre Broadcasting booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I do. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, Tommy, I got the opportunity last season to watch you run in the Cup Series, and obviously tonight, my first time calling a race here with Dre Broadcasting here in a special event. You were able to bring that 05 machine home in third. How's it feel to to get a third place finish here tonight at Charlotte?
Oh, I'm ecstatic about it. I think it's my best finish. I'm almost certain it's my best finish in Xtreme Motorsports '99.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I do believe you are right that is the best finish that you have had, at least in this division, as far as I know. But Tommy, you and the 50 of Scott Minton were basically on the same strategy there once that caution came out. What do you think you had to do differently to be able to try to compete with Scott to try to get the win, or did you just know that your truck was probably good enough for third and were happy with the top 5?
Yeah, probably pretty much that. I wasn't holding anything back. I was running as hard as I could and wasn't conserving gas. I knew it was going to be close, but I ran out of gas on the back stretch on that last lap and coasted it across the third. I was really happy with that.
All right, well, you definitely looked good out there tonight in that 05 machine, and before we let you go and celebrate with the team here on a great podium finish, is there anybody else out there you want to thank?
Yeah, of course, I want to thank you all for broadcasting. You do an excellent job in your broadcasting, and Xtreme Motorsports 99 for having this league, and all the drivers. I mean, it was a heck of a race, I mean, clean as can be. I think one caution, and everybody drives with respect out there. It was really good.
All right, Tommy, well, congratulations on the third place finish, and we thank you for coming up here and talking with us tonight.
Okay.
And that was the 05 Tommy Amasi finishing the third place spot. And we have the 81 of Travis Pryor finishing in 5th place here tonight. And Travis Pryor hasn't had the best start to the season just yet here in the early stages of this season. But tonight has been a different race for him. Got the copy there, Travis?
Yeah, I do.
How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Just trying to wrap my head around what happened tonight.
Oh, man. I can only imagine what you were going through out there, trying to figure out whether or not you were going to be able to make it. And we did see you go down to pit road. You were the only one who went down to pit road. Took some right sides and some gas in order to be able to make it. So actually, you were sure that you were going to be able to make it, and that did separate you from everybody else. And by the looks of it, you finished 20 seconds behind the leaders, but 3 seconds behind your next opponent, who was actually coasting to the start-finish line, which was the 6th of Tom Whitmore. Looking at your stats right now, Travis, your last race was at Atlanta Motor Speedway. You finished in the 17th place spot. That was a rough race for you, and you were not able to make it at Kansas the last race that we had. What contributed to your success here tonight, buddy?
I definitely have to say it's just a practice we've had in the K&N cars on Monday nights, and I got a great group of guys in Maverick Motorsports. We always help each other, and any way that we see someone slacking in some areas, we definitely make sure we can get them the best that they can be.
Oh, 10-4, brother. That's very, very good to hear. I want to congratulate you and your team on a very, very successful race here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But buddy will be shifting gears to a different beast next week at Dover International Speedway. What should we expect to see from you there, buddy?
I'm hoping every race I'm hoping to be at least a top 5 truck. So we'll get some practice in, see what our lap time is average, and hopefully you'll get to see me up there probably battling that 6 car later on.
Sounds like a plan, brother. Well, want to congratulate you on your success here tonight. It's good to see you headed the right direction after having some bad luck in the early stages here. But you do still show your face and keep your foot down the floor on your feet are down the racing surface and make a difference. Well, buddy, congratulations. Look forward to seeing you next race.
Thank you very much.
That was the 81 of Travis Pryor. That does run up our interviews. In the top 5 here, we'll have 50 of Scott Minton, Marty Ray, Tommy Amasi, Tom Wetmore, and Travis Pryor. Well, guys, I am very speechless. We saw some green flag pit stops, a lot of hard racing, and it just kept us on the edge of our seats because it was very difficult to tell who was not going to make it without having to pit it in one more time. But any highlights from tonight there, Ryan?
Oh, I mean, I think the highlight of the race was that one caution. I mean, that really set up who was going to be able to win this race, and a fantastic job there by the 50 of Scott Minton to save just enough gas there to be able to make the pass around Tom Wetmore and just made it to the start-finish line to not only get Scott's, as we mentioned, a second win here at ExtremeMotorsports99.com, but also locks him into the chase now for the championship, along with Tom Wetmore and Vern Bradley. So looking good so far early on in the season for that 50, and hats off to the other guys there who were able to make it to the end, such as Marty Ray, Tommy Amassi, and Travis Pryor there, who was able to rebound to 5th after being the final car to pit with only a few laps to go.
Oh, absolutely. That did definitely turn the tables here and make it even more exciting, and just goes to show how important different pit strategies are, even though some might seem not so good, but they do end up working out. And Dave, any final words from you, buddy?
Well, I just want to say this race was a blast. I mean, we saw something that we weren't sure was going to do, but Tom Wetmore going 43 laps on a tank of fuel and tires. He did run out of fuel coming out of turn 2. We saw Scott Minton, Tommy Amassi, and a bunch of these other guys that came down to fuel mileage is what it came down to. I also want to say it's been a blast having Ryan Daniels in here from Online Sim Racing Network. Make sure you check him out on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and of course check out their website at onlinesimracingnetwork.com. And just before I want to go, I didn't get to do it during the race, but Ryan, you're fired.
All right, well, if this was my only ever broadcast with you guys, I do appreciate it. Thank you for letting me coming up here and representing Online Sim Racing Network. And I hope everybody at home enjoyed, and thank you guys again for having me. Definitely appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, brother. And ladies and gentlemen, they are kidding. But thank you for joining us once again for the Online Sim Racing Network 114 here for round 4 of the Xtreme Motorsports 99 Camping World Truck Series. And the next race for round 5 will be at Dover International Speedway, entitled the Bar Harbor 170. That's 170. So we look forward to seeing you guys there again. And then the next broadcast is going to be tomorrow night with the Cyber Racing Association Dirt Series. So if you guys would like to see some cars going sideways on a track, racing side by side, and door banging and tire banging as well, that's the place to be. Once again, that's Cyber Racing Association tomorrow night, and next race with the Extreme Motorsports Truck Series next week for round 5 at Dover International Speedway for Bar Harbor 170. And tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to also tune in to the Extreme Motorsports 99 Xfinity Series with Ryan Daniels and Joe White at the OSR Network, youtube.com/OSR Network, or OnlineSimRacingNetwork.com. I am Sean Zulu, being joined by Dave Everly and a special guest, Ryan Daniels. If you have not yet already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified every single time we go live, because we do bring you entertainment from different tracks, different drivers, different cars, and different atmospheres, but the exact same high excitement. So you guys are fed 24/7, well, every day of the week almost. Well, once again, thanks for joining us, and see you again next broadcast. Have a good night.